Okay, I'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're joining us in the world today, and welcome to the SpunkGo webinar. Today's speaker is Kamna Hazrati. She is the founder of the social impact marketing company And Purpose and a mentor for early stage startups through programs like Stanford Seed and Google for Startups. It is my greatest pleasure to welcome Kamna to speak about lessons in entrepreneurship. Just a side note, Q&A will be done through the chat feature after her presentations. SpunkGo is an all-girls global student organization where proceeds go to charity. And with that, the floor is now yours, Kamna.
Thanks, Netra. I will first start by thanking you, and being patient with me. I know we have postponed it quite a lot, but thank you so much. And I'm very glad to, be on this platform and speak to all of you. And I thought, when I was thinking about this, I thought, let this be a very open conversation about, who I am, what I've done so far. And if that, kind of fires any spark with you, it would be great, right? I have a small presentation. I think people are still joining in. I will quickly share my screen and we'll start from there. Yeah. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Perfect. So let's start. I'm hoping this is the best session of SpunkGo so far, but this is debatable. But I won't be there till the time we decide. So I think I'm lucky that way. So yeah, I am starting this with this is a photograph of mine which a friend made uh, about 20 years ago, and I thought this would be a fun way to introduce myself. So hi everyone, my name is Kamna Hazrati. I am from New Delhi, India. I run an impact marketing company called And Purpose. And when I was thinking about myself, that beyond my work, how will I identify myself? I think I enjoy learning. I enjoy dreaming. And I think I'm very good in fighting back. So, yes, I'm a learner, I'm a dreamer, and I'm a fighter. Okay, so it's a very small presentation. There are a couple of house rules. Uh, you have to participate in the session. This is not a monologue that I'm going to deliver. Uh, please don't try to take any calls or use your mobile phone. Try taking photos, it will help us to remember this later. And yeah, let's get started. So, a couple of things which before we start the session, I just wanted to know about you all. Uh, I told you I'm from New Delhi, India. Which all countries are you guys from? If you can just put that in the chat quickly, say in another 10 seconds, it would be great. Okay. Right. Wow. So good to know. You guys are from India, Pakistan, Zimbabwe, Sri Lanka. Wow. Amazing. That's quite a lot coming in from different parts of the world. All right. Second question. What do you do? I'm just curious to know, what do you do? Quickly use the chat button and tell me what you do. You are a student, you work somewhere. What do you do? Okay. Uh, Wonderful. So we have a lot of students here. We have teachers also here. We have someone who's a housewife. There are many of you who are working with multiple organizations, especially in the impact sector also. So that's so good to know. Okay. Moving on, and to the last question. This is one of my photos when I was maybe your age from my college. Uh, how old are you? Quickly, another 10 seconds. Let's just write down how old are you? Okay. Wow. A lot of Gen Z is joining in, and I feel already very old amongst all of you. But yeah, keep it coming. Amazing. Thank you so much. Now, this small poll really helps me to understand, the small Q&A just helped me to understand who you are, where you're coming from, and, it just helps me to now learn more about you. And I was very curious to know. So thank you for that. Um, Now let's start with, you know, this conversation where for what we are here, right? Um, so you see a photograph on your screen. Do you know which movie is this from? If you have any idea, just another 10 seconds. Okay. Joker, no. Yes. Pursuit of Happiness. Yeah. Mithurdza got it right. Lois got it right. This is Pursuit of Happiness. And 1 second. Okay. This is from the movie called The Pursuit of Happiness. And let me tell you why I'm showing it to you here today as the first thing for my introduction. So what do I really am doing in my life is just this. I'm pursuing happiness. And that's how, I look at uh, my mission of life. What am I really doing? Why am I doing what I'm doing? It's just the pursuit of happiness. So this small conversation that we're going to have today is just about 4 life lessons that I have to share with you. Um, and through these 4 life lessons, I just wanted to share my journey so far with you. And maybe, if that sparks some excitement, sparks some, inspiration, I would have done my job. Yeah. So, starting with lesson number 1, do not allow other people, to make choices for you, and always, always follow your heart. Now, why do I say this? Okay. Um, let's go back to my journey, which started about 18, 20 years ago when I started doing college. So my parents always, so I'm a Indian girl coming from a middle class family, and like every other parent, my parents also wanted me to be an engineer or a doctor. But uh, doctor, of course not. That didn't happen because I didn't take bio. But I pursued science. I was a very good academically, I was very strong. I was scoring in 80s, 90s. And my parents, of course, wanted me to be an engineer because my elder sister was also an engineer. But my heart never was in engineering. I always wanted to do something, managerial, something which is creative, or maybe, like to this date, I have this dream that I'm managing an event like Dil To Pagal Hai, Shah Rukh Khan, and uh, Madhuri Dixit, or doing that event. So I had those things in my, when I used to close my eyes, I used to think of that, and that is what I really wanted to do. But my parents wanted to be an engineer. My elder sister was pursuing engineering, so of course there was a lot of pressure. Uh, but I somehow ended up negotiating with him and ended up doing computer science honors. Okay, and from there I did from there I did a master's in marketing from the Delhi School of Economics, and then moved to a career in media, a career in digital agency, and then eventually ended up following my own heart and founding my three e-commerce startups. So from 2014 to my first e-commerce startup was Giftsmate, which we launched in 2014. And from there, we have two more brands, the Yaya Cafe and Hapkara. Um, Three of them are e-commerce D2C brands operating in gifting, home decor, and kids wear. Um, but all this while, when I was doing this, so my parents, unfortunately, my father met with a very bad accident when I was very young. So that kind of changed the equation of the family. My mom was a sole bread earner, so there was a lot of influence coming from her, and she was a banker. So she always wanted us to be very independent. But she always thought that working in a bank is something which will give me a lot of financial stability, if I have to say, right? So, like every parent, she also wanted me to do, pick up something which will keep me safe and sound, and promoted me to become, a government officer. But I somehow never found it very interesting, right? So I was always finding my way to budget ki, abhi nahi karna hai, abhi nahi karna hai. I don't want to do it right now. We'll think of these things later. But there's always a age bar related with, government positions. So she was always pushing me, and I was always pushing it back. But luckily, I found my break with these e-commerce ventures. And for a very long time, my parents were not vested in me. They were not even aware of, the kind of salary I was making, what I was really doing. And, it used to be a lot of struggle because you'll go to office, you'll have to do so much firefighting when you're building your own business from scratch. And then you'll come back and then they'll talk to you about, getting married, having a safer job, why are you doing a startup? But I think that's lesson number one. uh, Always follow your heart. Your heart always knows, somewhere in your mind or in your heart, you always know what you want to do. You just have to find the courage, right? Don't be stupid in making those decisions, but find that courage somewhere. You'll find it in your heart. um, so yeah, that's lesson number one, and that's like I have taken you into first 4 5 years of my career now. So yes, moving on to, yes, lesson number two. So life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. If you're if you're strong enough to look into the eye of the dreams that you have, if you're strong enough to put your foot down and say that, okay, I believe in this thing. And it is not just that, मेरे को लगता है तो मुझे ये करना चाहिए. But you can also learn about it to make it as a very sound decision. I don't want you to go back and say that, okay, I heard her, she has done something, maybe we can do it also. But of course you can do it. But always have the facts and data also working with you for that action. If you do that, you'll make the right decisions. Your gut will always tell you that, this is what you want to do. This is what I really enjoy, uh, club it with some facts and figures. So it creates a safety net for you. It is very important for women, especially for women today, to be financially independent. Um, Take that leap, you know, show that courage, not to someone else, show it to yourself, stand up for yourself, just show up for yourself. And our life just, if you take one step forward in the right direction, God helps you to take five more steps. I think that's the belief that one should have. So yeah, that's my lesson number two. Our life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. Okay, going to lesson number three, which is, to succeed in life, you need three things: a wishbone, a backbone, and a funny bone. What do I mean by saying a wishbone? Have dreams. Don't just follow someone else's dreams. It could be your parents, it could be your friends, it could be your spouses. Don't follow someone else's dream. Follow your own dreams, Have a wishbone. Think about it. What do you really want? What do you really enjoy? And, I'm so sure that, I don't know how many of you have turned in here. I can't see the screen. But people who are here in this meeting, who are actually, taking time to attend a webinar, uh, and attend this 1 hour of monologue of someone they don't know. That is, you have taken that first step, or one of those first steps, to learn more, to be more open and be more receptive to change. I think that is something it is commendable on all of your part. Uh, have a wishbone, have a backbone, stand for what you believe in. I can't tell you how difficult it was the first couple of years when I was setting up the startup, right? We were not making money at all. We were not making money at all. I was not taking salary. And even if I was taking some salary, it used to be like very meager salary. So I used to have occasions, when my school friends or my college friends are just going out for a party, right? And I am a very I don't know, very, I don't feel in believing, I don't believe in taking loans, or I don't believe in, someone else paying for me. So I used to just, skip those friendly outings. I didn't used to go with my college mates. At a time when, my college friends were making far more money than I was. Um, I was just not able to do it, I was missing on those parts. But now when I reflect back on it, I had a backbone. I was believing in something, that I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do it. This is, I cannot settle into a job. It is not me. Even I cannot, just take orders and move in a certain direction. That is not me. I cannot stop my mind to think. I cannot stop my mind to dream or visualize or to lead people. It's not me. So when I realized that, I somehow, and I don't know how it happened, very honestly, I don't know how it happened. um, in my younger years, I was always the most shy kid. Out of, we are three sisters, I was the most shy kid. um, I don't know how I found that courage, I really don't know. But I was speaking to my mother one day, and she was saying that if you take one step, God takes 5 steps, 10 steps for you. So I think that's my faith, that if you move, if you believe in yourself, and if you take one step, uh, there is this force of nature which will work with you to help you get your dreams come true. So I think that is something, just have in mind. Have a backbone for your own dreams. Do not be submissive, and do not keep your career or keep your dreams on a back uh, bench. Just just show up for yourself. That is very important. Third thing, have a funny bone. Don't take yourself very seriously. You will make mistake, you will fall down. Imagine a child who's just learning to walk. They fall, but they don't when we are as kids, we do not stop walking because we have fallen once, right? We don't always see that, okay, someone else gonna see me falling, or someone else is gonna judge me how I'm behaving in the situation, right? And then I think, especially as a woman, we have like something is running in the back of our mind always, that if I do this, someone else is gonna judge me this way or that way or whatever. But um, don't do that. Have a funny bone. You made a mistake. I don't know how many of you know Hindi here, but uh, there's this one. I'll say it for people who know Hindi a little. There is this one quote which says, "क्यों घबराएं जिंदगी में क्या होगा, कुछ नहीं होगा तो तजुर्बा होगा." Which just means, that you don't get scared that what would happen in life. If nothing, you'll get experience. If nothing, you'll get an idea about how it functions, right? So have that funny bone. Now, why I also mentioned this to you is uh, because, so the first 12 years of my career, I I started my career with a job. I worked in two places. Then I moved to founding my own e-commerce ventures. Um, so I've always been a digital marketing e-commerce person. Um, but so for a very long time, I don't know how many of you know India very well, but in India, I live in Delhi, and I used to work. My office was on Barakhamba Minto Road, and I used to take metro to my office. Whenever I was taking that metro, I would come out and I would see a very old lady, and I've spoken about this a lot of times. Uh, uh, I saw this very old lady, and I used to see her every day. So every day she'll be sitting on the metro station, and she must be my grandma's age. So someone in her 80s or 70s. She's sitting on on the metro pavement. She'll ask, she'll be begging for stuff. Uh, as per my means, I would give her, whatever I could. Uh, but every day, every single day, so I was in that office for about 10 years. Every single day, I will take the metro, reach office, I will see her, I will give her something, but at the same time, I will feel so bad about it. That what am I really doing with all this education that I have? What am I really doing to make some impact? What can I do to change things? Um, how can, and I don't mean changing things by charity. I don't mean giving her 100 rupees or 1,000 rupees, or giving her things which would, suffice her, but maybe do something which will change things on a larger scale, right? Um, and that was one thought which it was just not leaving me ever. So I had a huge intent to work in the social impact space. I still don't have any formal qualifications for working in the impact space. So I used to wonder, what I can do which will bring impact at scale. And in about 2017-18 is when I did a course from Stanford University's seed program in India. I met a lot of wonderful business entrepreneurs. We learned a lot from the Stanford faculty, and they kept saying, so their mission is to work to build impact at scale, and that's what they're doing by empowering more entrepreneurs. Um, and when I was, just that mission stayed with me forever. Like now, it has just stayed with me forever. That what do I do in life that it builds impact at scale. Not charity, but something which will just change things for better, even if it is a half a percentage change, but it will make some impact, right? And it's a ripple effect. I think what Netra is doing right now with SpunkGo has influenced so many lives, right? And I'm Netra, very honestly, I'm a fan. I cannot imagine in that young age you doing this, and you taking a decision like that. That's very inspiring. And the more I know you have won so many awards, I've seen you moving. I feel very inspired by you, by a person like you, that you're able to mobilize so many young girls. By and it's not the idea that counts, right? It's a very simple idea. We are organizing a webinar, we're pulling people together, right? It's the action that matters. You have taken the time, and you have taken the decision to spare that time for this every single month. I don't know how you do it, but kudos to you for that, right? So I think maybe getting inspiration from Netra and from everywhere else, people around me. I was thinking, what could I really do which will just change this? I don't feel happy about this. uh, and I was contemplating a lot about making this career move. uh, in about 2019, on the personal front, I got married. So I was like, okay, this is off the head. And I got married pretty late. So it was like, oh my God, marriage, marriage, marriage. You all know how marriage works for Asian Indian girls. So I was coming from that. I was like, okay, Shadi is done. This is off the page. Now, what do I really do? Right. And I uh, took a chance on myself. I thought that, okay, I had a wishbone, that I want to work in impact sector. I don't know how, but let's test the waters. Let's see how it will happen, right? I had a funny bone because I have worked in e-commerce for 12 years of my career. I was very good in something and I was zero in something else. So if I'll go out, I was fearful, people wouldn't know me, right? People don't know me in the impact space. They wouldn't know how to trust me. I don't know how to, really be truthful to, their trust. So I was literally very lost in that, but I think I had a backbone. So I thought, let's just say, let's just do this. Or kya hoga? My life is not to just sit on a computer and keep working, right? Let me try to do something which will make me happy. So the first thing, the pursuit of happiness, this was going to make me happy, is what I believed. And I thought, let's just do this, take this leap of faith, and let's see what happens, right? So in 2021 is when I moved to consulting. I started with boutique consulting. We have worked so far now. So and purpose came into being about 8 months ago. Uh, Before that, I was running it under my own name. I have a very unique name. You won't find other Kamna Hazrati in the world right now. So thankfully for that, I thought, let's use it for my good Kamna Hazrati's advisory. I used it, I ran it, but I was still not getting happy about it because by working with one or two businesses in a business consulting space, it was not really helping me. So I took that commitment that okay, let me shape it into something I will always believe in, and that's why the name and purpose, that will always be driven by everything and purpose. So I think that's a little background story. Moving on to the last uh, lesson of my life and my entrepreneurial journey. Uh, Great companies start because the founders want to change the world and not make a fast buck. Uh, I started this because I really want to change the world in whatsoever way I can. And that's a little story of what I was talking to you about, a couple of seconds ago. This is the backstory of and purpose, how we came into being. Um, and whenever we are talking to people, and so this is one thing which we keep in mind, that our purpose and our mission is to bring impact at scale. So what we are trying to do at and purpose now is to use storytelling and communication to drive change. Right now what we are doing in this conversation is also storytelling, right? I'm trying to tell you my story, and hoping that it will drive maybe some change, right? uh, there are so many good stories in the world which could be brought forward and which could drive change. There are so many businesses in the world who are actually doing phenomenal work and are driving change, but are not talking enough about it. Um, at Iron Purpose, we are using storytelling for change. At Iron Purpose, right now we have two brand verticals. One is the agency vertical, where we work with businesses, impact businesses across the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, 17 Sustainable Development Goals. We work with businesses across that spectrum for their communication and marketing needs. Secondly, we also run a grants platform where we facilitate more communication about grants. So grants and funding resources are a very close space right now, and people want access to that information. So we are trying to build that platform by building a community of people who want access to grants, and then donors who have access to funds and want to give it away. We're trying to build a platform for them. We have a couple of more things in mind. We have tried to go gung-ho this year, but um, I think that is that. I think one last thing which I wanted to add to these life lessons was, um, I think somewhere in these four life lessons, I also mentioned that you have to keep the courage on, right? Um, so about 2 years ago, so I got COVID in the second wave of COVID, and it was really bad. Um, and about 2 years ago, I got a slip disc problem, which just disabled me to walk a lot, sit a lot, um, just keep lying and take bed rest. So, and for me, for a person like me who has been very aggressive, all this while, it was very difficult to take the break. It still is. I'm still recovering, but that was that. And I think, Netra, that was one of the reasons why I was not able to pick it up before. So I apologize for that. Um, but I read this somewhere, in life, and a lot of you are housewives, a lot of you are in the growing stages of your career. In life there will be situations and places where you might want to work 100%, but you are not able to. It could be you're getting married, it could be you're having a baby, it could be you just felt sick, anything. uh, do not keep your do not let your hope die, do not let your courage die. uh, if God is giving you lemons, you make a lemonade. If things are slowing you down, slow down, do not give up. I was reading this somewhere, there was this very famous Indian entrepreneur who just delivered a baby, and she was getting back to work, and it was getting difficult for her. So, and I think I read, she said this, that if you're unable to make it with your 100% speed, maybe simmer it down a little, right? And that just gave me hope. We are all humans, we all get our ups and downs. If you are in that, ever you get into that stage, or you are in that stage, just try to simmer down your efforts. Don't give it up. Once the time gets right again, it is always easier to start from 5 and go back to 10 than to go back to 0 and then again go back to 10, right? So do not, and there's this very famous Hindi thing called quote called, man ke hare haar hai, man ke jeete ji. If you are uh, it just means in English, that if you give up from your heart, you have lost the battle. And if you do not, if your heart is strong, there is nothing that you can't win. It's just in our hearts and minds that we try to succumb to these situations or circumstances. And I'm sharing this because eventually it is life, right? We will all have our own stages. We'll be moving from schools to colleges, colleges to workplaces, workplaces to businesses, to becoming a wife, to becoming being a daughter of of our aging parents, being a mother, or being a masi, bua, whatever that role is. You will always have those responsibilities. If by any chance you're not able to do what you want to do, just simmer down your efforts. Don't give up on yourself, and keep that faith alive in your heart. um, I think yeah, that's bring me to the end of it. This is a little about, again, how I combined impact and purpose. Um, and so we work across all these domains: climate, gender, education, healthcare. And yeah, thank you for coming. The barcode is just to my LinkedIn profile in case you want to connect there. I'll be very happy to stay connected. And yeah, the photo is again, one of my friends' illustration of mine. So yeah, I thought it will maybe give you a smile, and yes, it will be a good way to sign off. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so
And
much,
thank you,
Kamna.
Netra.
Thank you. Amazing presentation. I think you really summed up entrepreneurship to about the mindset. And these quick little lessons, I think, are going to stay with us for life, really.
Thank you, Netra.
So we have a few questions here from the audience.
Sure.
How did you personally deal with adversity when you were setting up your business, and did you have a support system?
Okay. So, very honestly, I used to get mad at my parents. I used to just get mad at my parents that why every conversation starts with marriage, ends with marriage, right? You wake up, it's like, go see a boy. You come back, we have to see a boy. So I'm like, let's just take a break. So I think uh, in the sense of adversity, I was just looking for strength in myself. I used to spend and I still do. I still spend a lot of time just alone with myself, with my thoughts, um, and just try to, I don't know, there's no one else who can comfort you. You can only comfort yourself. You'll always get anxious, right? You have a fight with your boyfriend, you'll get anxious. You have a fight with my sister. I just fought with my sister this morning. I was very upset with her. Uh, you'll always get, those feelings and emotions. Uh, it's human, but there's no one else who can solve that problem for you. There is no one else who can comfort you that much. Have, uh, you know, uh, invest time, invest energy on yourself, not on anyone else, but yourself first. Build a support system of, if you are lucky to have a family who supports you in your dreams, if you're lucky to have friends, who can just hear you out. And a lot of times, you just want people to hear you out, right? Because once your thoughts are out of your system, you know the answers yourself. Um, invest in your relationship, invest in your girlfriends. I always say this. Um, no matter you're getting married, you're getting bachas, you're getting whatever in the world, right? Friends are the only ones, and everything has to be nurtured. Just like anything, if you have to cook, you have to first blanch the vegetables, right? You have to peel them off, right? If you're gardening, you have to sow the seeds, you have to water them every day. That's for every relationship you'll have, be it from your employees to your friends, to your parents, to your spouses. Invest in those relationships, invest in having a mentor, having a cross industry mentor. go back to people and ask them for their advice. Don't shy from it. I think one of the things I've learned from being an entrepreneur is I'm shameless for asking help. If I need help, I need help. You know, I do not judge myself that मुझे इतना नहीं आता या मुझे ये नहीं पता है. If you budge a question once, you will never get to know. But if you ask that question just once, you will know it for the lifetime, right? So do not be, do not be scared to ask people. If you're stuck somewhere, just ask for help and look for people who can help you. Believe me, in this journey of building and purpose, I have gone out to so many people, just so many people. Um, for example, when you're building the grants platform, I've asked so many of my friends, how do you raise grants? Where do you get it from? What do you need when when you are getting the grant? All those things. Because I'm building a platform. If I will not ask them, I'm not gonna dream about it, right? And how many journals can I read? But then going to the customer and really asking them about it. So just speak to people, ask for help wherever it is needed, and you'll find your way. Yeah. I hope that helps.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think what you said about the support system, if you don't have that inbuilt, it is so easy to nurture it through your friendships with
Yeah,
your friends and other people in your life. Yeah. Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah.
The next question is, what do you attribute your drive or your motivation to?
Who do I attribute my drive and motivation to? Or I'm sorry, I didn't get the question.
I think it says, what do you attribute your drive and motivation to? So I think what motivates you to get up every day?
So, for a very long time when I was building my e-commerce businesses, I had that drive and it comes from within because you're passionate about something. So I was passionate about building new products. And the businesses continue to run. It's just that I have moved out of those businesses. We are a product company, we're a creative company. So every time when I would think, and I'm a visual thinker, so every time I would be building a product or building a design, I would think that, okay, the recipient will feel so happy about it, right? Or what if I shot a video of them receiving it? It really used to excite me. The quirkiness of the products really used to excite me. Uh, to a point that it stopped exciting me, and that's when I decided to move on. Um, Today, what excites me is that we are able to make some difference. We're able to and especially with the grants community, because with the business community and the agency model where we work, it's with the businesses. We are still very young, so that is something which is something I cannot see in the first go. But especially with the grants community, when I see people asking questions, access to more information, and they're thanking us that we're building such platform, it really that their contentment gives me a lot of happiness. And I think that is the drive for me, that I'm passionate about this. So if you're passionate about something, you won't be working for a day. I'm sure you have heard or read it somewhere. So just find that passion, what you enjoy doing. So if you enjoy doing it, there's not a single day you're working. For me, it's that. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel that as well. I think seeing the impact of something that you've started and something that you're passionate about is even more of a drive. Mhm.
Right.
So the next question is, in your e-commerce landscape and also social impact, where do you see yourself going in the future or within the next year?
Okay. So with that purpose, we are building a summit, which is going to be a global summit where we want to bring the change makers together. That's the bigger vision. So I want and purpose to be a place, a boiling pot of conversations for impact. So if someone wants to do impact business, someone wants to solve a problem, they should know who to get in touch with, where to go for that. That is something that we're building on. We are planning it for early next year, and that is one thing which I'm really really passionate about. I'm really passionate about so a lot of green businesses in solar, hydro, they're doing phenomenal work by solving a lot of problems. And there's a lot of conversation. If you hear it, like the UN General Secretary said that people should not work with fossil fuel companies. But the point is, people do not know a lot about green energy companies. So as much as we make noise about the green energy companies, people know that there are alternatives to it, right? So I think that is something, that's a space where we want to be. We want to drive those conversations. We want to build more, we want people to come together to solve the problems. It's not going to be solved by one person or one company. It's for our world, right? I want that to happen, and this is what we are set to do. We are in the process of building our and purpose global summit. I'll maybe reaching out to you, Netra, for that. Help us drive more engagement. Use SpunkGo services to do that. But yeah, that's the bigger dream. Um, Whatever we do, we make conversations with impact happen, and that's what we want to do with on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that in the future.
Perfect.
So I think in your presentation, you mentioned at one point that you were a pretty shy person. Did you have to build up public speaking skills? And I think, how did you do that?
Okay. So I really enjoy sitting by myself and working. I don't like talking to people. If I'm coming out and talking for even an hour or so, uh, it's very difficult for me to do it. It doesn't come to me naturally. But once I've struck the chord with someone, I've enjoyed the conversation. It's intellectually stimulating for me. I will get into that conversation. Then I'm a chirpy bird. But otherwise, I'll be like, people go to events for networking. I stand in a corner and maybe meet two people and come back. I'm very happy with that. Um, I became a better manager because of being an entrepreneur. More than a manager, I became, I don't know how to say this, but, and I don't know what a gunda is said in English, but I'm a woman trying to run a company with a male partner, with a lot of male employees. And they look over my shoulder for authority to my male partner. So I had to keep my foot down and, put my foot down and say that, okay, I'm the boss. And I have to communicate this to you and become a, more of a, I became a more Gunda kind of a personality in my mind, I feel. Though I don't know how much that scales for people, but I became kind of a rough, tough person because I had to run a ship. We had When you're running a business, there are serious money implications, right? You're providing salaries, you're taking up loans or building an office. All this needs money. So with money, responsibility, eventually everything comes around also. So I think that is something which I learned from there. Public speaking is something I think as a child I've been always been motivated to go and read the newspapers. I don't read the newspapers anymore. I just read the opinion section. Otherwise, the newspaper really makes me anxious of all the bad things that happen in the world. But I just like reading the opinion section. I think if you are young and you are trying to get into public speaking, you must read the newspaper, not the murders and the trials and the politics, but maybe just go to the opinion sections. Every newspaper has it. Read those. They will stimulate your mind. They will just tell you so much more about how things happen at a very policy level, at a very grassroots level also. So you will get to see and learn more about that. um, Try speaking, try taking opportunities, show up for opportunities, right? Raise your hands for opportunities where you are getting to speak. Just show up there, and even if it is a 5-minute thing, just speak. And when you try to speak and put your thoughts out, a lot of clarity also starts to come in to yourself also, right? So just go out and show up and start doing it even in small minutes bouts. And once you have done that, I think it will become like I've now spoken for an hour. I wouldn't have imagined this 20 years ago. I used to be the shyest person on the block, so I have never imagined doing this before. But this has happened with years of, working by yourself, working on yourself, uh, and those 5-10 minutes of speaking and putting my mind out, right? Putting my thoughts out that this is what I believe in, this is not what I believe in. Um, and be open to conversations and confrontations, if I have to say. You know, you don't have to be a yes person all the time. If you believe in something, you think this is right, have that conversation. It could range from being, a political opinion to, something about your work, something about your family, whatever it is. Put your thoughts out, because once you start to speak it, you get a lot of clarity in your mind and you grow. Otherwise, you are just a yes person, and yes, people do not grow. You have to be a no person also. You have to start saying no to a lot of things and say yes to the right things. So I think that's also important for you to do. Yeah.
Yeah, especially with public speaking, I think one of the easiest ways is just to keep on doing and keep on practicing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So a bit of context with this next question. This person has had a pretty bad past with leadership, and she feels that people will judge her due to this past. Obviously, the past is a point of reference, but just aiming to stand up and take charge, how does one overcome that past?
Um, be honest to yourself and realize that were you right or wrong in that situation. That is one. You start from there. So, and in our hearts and minds, we always know कि मैंने सही किया या गलत किया. If I was right or wrong in whatever I was doing. I think that is something. Be honest to yourself, so you will know where you were coming from. At times when we have such confrontations, or at times when we have those kind of arguments, uh, of course our self-belief takes a hit. If you're talking to a leader, and if you are actually being scolded for that, you will feel a little bad about it, but there's no other way to grow. You will always have to put, I think, what you say is less important than how you say it. So I can express my authority to you, but it's not important that I'm going to raise my voice on you, right? Raising voices does not mean that you are an authoritative figure. Uh, Speaking every time also does not mean that you're an authoritative figure. Giving contributions to everything doesn't count either. Say when you speak when you really mean it. Speak when when you believe that, okay, this is the right thing to say. And it doesn't have to be. Do not keep pulling that paragraph to a 30-word paragraph, and it can be said in 5 words, right? Because at times when we are underconfident, that's also one of the things that we do. We try to justify. We say something, then we try to justify it with a paragraph long, dialogue, and then it just undermines your authority and your stance there. If you believe in something, choose your words wisely, but do choose your words. If you believe in something, show up and speak up about it. You might be right or wrong about things. Be open to feedback. That's when we said, have a funny bone. You will be wrong about a lot of things. We are all humans. We're not supposed to be uh, right all the time, right? You'll be wrong at times. You'll be right at times. Have the maturity to accept the wrongs, and have the humility to say the right things and still not be very pushy about it. So um, maybe that could help.
Yeah, I think whoever this person is, like, they hope that really helps them in their journey in leadership. So that was our last question. If you have any last words on this topic or for the audience to take in and really sit with.
I think I've said enough, and I've said a lot. Just keep believing in yourself. Just keep the faith, keep believing in yourself, and show up for things that you really believe in. Show up for your dreams. Um, Maybe you'll have, like I was saying before, even if you're able to show up 10, 20, 30% of the times, there will be some time when you'll be able to show up for 100%. But just show up for yourself, and be happy and more, just more happy about it, right? Don't take it as a burden on you. Whatever you're doing, just enjoy it, build up on your passions. And yeah, that should be that. Lead a good, happy life. And that should be that. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kamna, for this
Perfect.
amazing presentation. I think you really summed it up, and the audience has really enjoyed it. Thank you to the audience as well for listening and interacting as well as they did today. If you need any more details or want to know how to participate in SpunkGo, please visit our website. You will all be automatically invited to our future webinars. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day ahead.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Netra. I really loved coming.